Is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are in for another round of August. We said it was gonna be tricky, but so far still selling the rips seems to be the approach. We'll see what happens today. Doesn't look like at open at least we have any rips. I'm gonna leave this little Fibonacci on for a second. We'll talk about that just to see kind of how we want to use that. But man, every day we got Adam, we got Alex, we got Andy. Good morning to Bill, Cindy. We got D Nows. Good morning to Eric, Greg, Gilbert, Jay, John. Good morning. We got Kevin, Martina, Nelson, Wole is in the house. What is happening? We got all my peeps in YouTube land. Let me check out YouTube real quick. I gotta get to the right. I got like 6 YouTube things open. But yep, we got good morning to Daniel. We got Larkin in the house. Happy Friday. Honey Roy says good morning, everyone. And Michael B, good morning. Jennifer, what is happening? Hope you're doing well. All right, so let's talk. We got some more numbers coming in. We got, I believe, the consumer sentiment come out yet. I'm not sure if that one did yet, but otherwise, yeah, not on the inflation number, we did miss on that one this morning on PCE. We are gapping down, nothing to save us. Yesterday was a little bit of a blow off top, so we actually had a nice looking gap and go at open. We started to run, we broke through the 450. We were popping into the 452 zone, and we just got smacked right back down. Ended at the lows of Friday. I drew this little Fibonacci on the spot yesterday. So again, here's my 618, right? From at least this move, which is where did I start this one? I started this one right here, right? So this is my first move. I don't really want to keep extending it out because technically, I'm just, well, more terrified than anything because the move at this point, we're starting to miss some of those like little pivots, and it's a little bit of a bigger move. So realistically, on a bigger time frame, no, still not there yet. Still not there yet. That's where the move starts, right? I don't know how far of a pullback we get. There's still some moving averages below us that could save us and hold us up. But if you're really thinking about the move that we really just had, that could get scary. That's going to take us to about a 410 for a 618. You got 420 becomes that 50% retracement. And that means we could have a much bigger room to the downside. Sebastian, what's happening? But yeah, so we'll see. First stop though, I think we probably get even at this little spot, 441.13. We do know that from the pivot that we had last time, which that 618 is not holding, which is why we kind of have to go to a longer time frame for a bigger bounce area. I think we probably get bought up on the dip. It's going to be a tough one to buy because I think sell the rip makes more sense. So we'll have to see what happens. But we got targets right now to 443.82 to the downside on the SPY. If that does not hold, we could be in for a pretty decent red candle down to 440.98. So we'll have to see. This level somewhere between the 443.82 and 443.24. That's the area that has to hold. And to the higher side, I think this does get retested. So I think this 446 is probably going to be a spot where we look for some kind of retest. I don't think this is where we get the bounce though. So again, pick your poison. Do you want to wait for the bounce first and try to get a bigger win? Do you have somewhere to go today and you want to just play something maybe bullish out of the gate, try to play that retest? But there's no guarantee this thing bounces. We are below the wick. I just have to be patient because that is one heck of a sell day yesterday without any relief whatsoever. A little bit of a gap down, I think should get bought up, and that's what I'm gonna at least plan for. Well, I guess we could plan for I never typed in just 2 Qs before. That's kind of wild. First day for everything. Sean Bell, what's happening? All right, let's see. Larkin wants to take a look at Disney. Yep, if you guys have gaps you want to take a look, throw that into the chat. We got the Qs. So Qs, same thing, a little bit of a gap down. Plus the infield gap. We were on the unfilled gap, yeah. Yep. Yeah, and you got about a 50-50 on the SPY. So you have about the same ratio to the higher side as to the lower side. Do we fill the gap first and then come back? I don't know. I feel like it's the other way. I feel like we get that bounce first and then we come down, but I don't know. We'll see. We got the Qs. Either way, I mean, that gap is staring us in the face at this point. The question is not if, it's when that gap gets filled. It's just, and I don't think it's like, is it this week or is it Monday? It's like, what time of today does that get filled? But the market's got some, some strange ways of doing things. We got the Qs, so same thing, gapping down, almost tweezer tops, not quite, but very close to it on the Qs yesterday. Same little, oh my goodness, candle that we had yesterday, blow off top, definitely some weakness still. And I still think going back to just sell the rip, I think we still have that on the table. So a little bit of support on the Qs. Maybe that could survive if this one starts to break. I think the level we have to watch for to the downside, 365.94. If we break that, it's good news for the bears. That should push us down to 364.14. That's going to push us into 362.76. And we got a lot of room in here for maybe some kind of chop before we break, and then the next one down would be about 355. So I don't think it's an automatic just drop. There's a lot of levels of support in this area, but I do think we probably come down to this area. That's when we start to get a little bounce. People are feeling good, and then I think we go, oh, that was just a wave one. That was two. This is a three. So I think there's still some room for some downside. Let's take a look at Disney. Intraday gap. Would that be an S curve? Intraday meaning smaller time frame you want to look at? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. Intraday gap. I'm trying to find out what you're looking at. This would be, if you're talking about this one from yesterday. So yeah, this one ran up. That looks a little less curvish. Somewhere down probably in this zone, but that was all pre-market. But then we opened, we came down, we retested, and took off from there. For today, I don't really see any real S curve. We would have had to come in and just kind of bring it back down almost to this like $90 level again and then take off. Larkin says, no, sorry, I meant gapping to middle, so not breakout. I think you confused me more. I'll give you what I think. I mean, that's a nice we have a little bit of a double bottomish. This one was still a little bit of a lower low. What I would say is this is probably your first, so you had one little pivot in here. This one, at least we could say, okay, we look like we bottomed out a little bit. Very, very good support, somewhere around this 85-50 zone, 85-45-ish. And it does look like maybe, we hit that support a few times. We had okay report from Disney, like they didn't basically come out, wave the white flag and say we're going out of business. So people took that as positive. And we even started with the bullish sentiment here. We faded, and then we did have this gap up from that. So it does look like it's starting to build some strength. You did make a few new higher highs on a smaller basis, but that's your big pivot. So I think the bigger resistance probably comes in at 94.62. And then if we start to really break that, I would like to see, let me get this pen on the correct screen. But yeah, Disney held up some strength yesterday when the market was coming down. Obviously, it did have some bullish catalyst to it, or kind of bullish. It was okay. It wasn't great. But what I would like to see is this come in Maybe we get past this point would be fantastic. That shows us at least on a bigger picture, we got a new higher high. But then probably it's going to rotate down and you want to see that next level. So you want to see this next lower low, wherever the retracement comes in. I want to see this one as a new higher low as opposed to breaking this. Because otherwise this is all just trappy and then we're in for some more selling. But I think that would be a good pattern if we are going to start to break out on Disney. All right. We got Microsoft, MSFT. Microsoft, a little bit of a gap down. Again, that's technically a retest gap below support. So now again, we had a little mini support here. That support should become the new resistance. Very good support somewhere right in here. We do have one little VPOC yesterday that came in at somewhere at this 322.97. I would think this one right here is where I'd be very curious to see if we actually break through this one today, or whether today or Monday or wherever this happens. But this gap is not really filled yet, so we still have a lot more room to the downside. I would have to think bearish, and I think if I could get in a little bit higher, that would be a welcomed entry. And again, this thing has fallen a lot since the highs. Hey, this is from what, 366. I would say I think Microsoft kind of put the pin in some of the AI stuff when they said the growth in the profits in AI is going to be a more gradual, when everyone's like, nah, this is going to be $1 billion tomorrow. But yeah, so we do have a little bit of a retest gap. Let's see if this one comes up for the retest. I'm going to actually move this one high on the list. I think we have a good level to try to short. I'm going to ignore the first VPOC, I think, and I'm going to look for a little bit higher. Even see if we can retest some of those, but somewhere in this level and maybe stops at like 325.46, something like that. I think we can make that trade happen. And I would entertain the short on that one for sure. Tesla. Let's see, Tessie. Take some of those lines off. Sanjay has some NVIDIA calls. We'll take a look at NVIDIA. We will take a look at that one. Actually next. All right, so we got Tesla. Again, it's still holding. Man, this is like the most stubborn. This is the slowest death I've ever seen. This is brutal. Like, just collapse already. We've been gunning for this 232.63 forever. It doesn't honestly look like there's much saving it. We're now opening below all the other previous VPOCs. It looks pretty ugly. It is inside day at a little bit of support, technically speaking, and I don't know if it's going to hold up or just automatic loss of R, but buying Tesla at the open is at least a good risk to reward play. Having stopped somewhere around 240.52, and wherever this thing opens, you take a shot at a buy. It's not a guaranteed by any stretch of the imagination to work, and it probably will not work, but it is at least a good location for attempting to go long. The other side of this thing is, well, how far does this thing go? I mean, these candles get wild all day for the month of August. So if they do want to hold, I don't know, but 244.88 was a good spot that I would look at the short. 245.36, good spot that I'd like to short. Tons of resistance in there. So if Tesla gets bought up and you're quick, that might be a decent trade to go bullish out of the gate. And then as soon as we break down, that's a flip. That's an easy flip. I think for me, I probably just wait it out, see what happens. 245.20-ish, somewhere in that 245 zone. Load up on some puts and see if this thing starts to reverse, especially if they start giving me some kind of candles in that area zone or whatever it is. But yeah, there's nothing to really stop us except some just price levels, but not volume levels. So I don't know. And how far up on my list is Tesla? Let me just scoot that one. That one way up. It's not really a play I'm going to take it open unless I do want to attempt just a risk reward play. We got Nvidia. So Nvidia calls. I would also get some Nvidia puts as well. I would probably take a couple, Sanjay. Yeah, that was probably the last attempted stand on Nvidia. This is a gap and go. I don't know specifically when your calls are expiring. If it's today, they might be a little bit to the worthless side today. If you got some time, you got some value still in them. You might be able to maneuver, maybe take out some short term puts just to kind of hedge some of those calls if you want, or just dump the calls if you want. But it doesn't look strong. The only thing that I could say for anything is probably about 412.10 is going to be a little bit of a bounce spot. I like Nvidia short out of the gate though. I like it short. And if you have calls, and again, if you have calls and you're long, you could always go in and short the shares every day. You'll probably make more money shorting the shares than you would make on the calls anyway. So you have some options to kind of hedge, but we'll keep watching Nvidia. It does look a little bit to the weak side. I wish I had some more positive news, but I'm not Santa Claus. I'm not Santa Claus. I wish I could be. One day, I applied for the job. My application's lost in the mail. And if we get a little bit lower than that, I could see us also coming down to 408.96. It definitely has some room. Definitely has some room. Definitely has some weakness. And this one, I think, has a lot of continuation. I like Nvidia short a lot today. Probably my favorite. We don't have to wait too long. Again, can we get some green candles out of the gate? Man, that would be fantastic. Will we? No, I don't know. Test the gap, close at 235 area. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think Tesla has some room to come down. We have another ticker in there for Nvidia earnings. Got you. Oh, you played it for. All right. MNST. Brian says the plays today will be Disney, Palantir, Neo, and ACHR. ACHR, I don't think I've actually looked at that one. Actually, that one was moving the other day, I'm pretty sure. Monster, let's take a look at Monster, and then we'll go through some of the plays of the day from Brian. We got Monster. So Monster is a little bit of a gap up. It looks different than the market. Still in a very, very big just resistance zone. I honestly, for this thing to really run, I think 58.47 is going to have to clear. Question is, do you want to wait that long? Because you're already giving up probably about 30-40 cents on the way up to get to that point, and then is it another blow off top when you get up there? So I don't know if I'd play this one long today, especially in this type of market that we're in right now, where people are selling the rips. But yeah, that looks different than the market. Worst case, still inside day. I would expect chop, especially into some resistance on that. Let's take a look at Brian's play of the day. So Disney, we did look at already. Again, it did run into some of those previous VPOCs. This one could fade down, I think, a little bit if I was to day trade this one. Still hanging in there when yesterday was strong. Today, it's still it's a little bit lower, but the market's gapping more than Disney. So the question is, does this one have any more strength? I think we do get a pullback on this one. Probably resistance is going to be around that VPOC from yesterday, 91.67. We'll see if we give a little bit back. Even down to like this $90.64 level. So you do have a good dollar to make on Disney to the downside if it wants to fade. Let's see. Palantir, PLTR. I would say Brian's asking, do you think Celsius will follow Monster growth run? Looks good. I think Celsius is the third largest energy drink right now. And I would say that they already have grown just a boat ton already. So from this point to grow more, I don't know. I think they're a little bit to the overvalued side, Celsius. but they've grown. They've had a good growth story. Hector's in the house. What's up, Hector? Palantir looks a little bit like the SPY and Qs. And I'm gonna get back to Celsius if I got some time too. Palantir still probably some continued weakness. Probably look for some kind of initial bounce on Palantir, and I think that's still shortable. I think Palantir would get back down into the. I do like this $15 range. I think we come a little bit lower. I think we probably have $14, and then maybe we get some kind of buying, at least a relief rally after. I mean, we had one small green candle, but otherwise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles in a row, essentially on the daily of just nonstop selling. So we'll have to see where that goes. But the earnings came in, and people are like, wait a minute, they were good earnings, but they might have run it up a little too much. So maybe another dollar to the downside on Palantir. We got NIO. Again, this is also a retest gap. NIO out of the gate. This is one of those situations where it's like, yeah, it could go up or down. I mean, I don't know. It most likely, I think, will come in for that gap fill. And I think, yeah, we just talked about Hector. You got to show up on time, Hector. You got to show up on time. We talked about it. I like it though. I do like it. To the short side. We got and then so I got 12.15 to the downside. I got 13.26 to the higher side. This is essentially smack in the middle. So flip a coin if you want to play this thing out of the gate, because I don't know if we come down here first. I would say if I had to put a little edge on it, this one probably gets bought up at open. Comes in for that retest as we had a couple days of selling. People might want to take profit, and then I probably won't play this one out of the gate. You can still make it the play of the day if you want to, but for me, I'd want to either wait for here. Let's hit one of those zones to go short, or one of these zones to go long. Right? Because otherwise, right here, I have about an R of risk or R of risk. Right? So it's about a 1-to-1, and that's only if you guess correctly of what we do first out of the gate. So I'd rather it either go lower or higher first, and then make a decision from there. ACHR. Archer Aviation. That's a nice gap up. That looks interesting. Definitely doing something than the rest of the market. Into a little area. I gotta put this on the list. Archer. This one's doing something very, very different than the rest of the market. Looks like, I don't know if the earnings were today. I gotta zoom in a little bit, but let me throw this on the list. This is we're in a spot right now where the bears are gonna have to figure out what to do. If we start getting past $7.26, this thing is off to the races. There's nothing really holding this thing back. Probably until $9.26. Let me check short float on this one. FinViz. I just did like a formula there. ACHR. 12% short float. Uh-oh, Brian. I mean, the rest of them could be plays of the day, but I think this is your at least opening play. This is one I think you might want to focus on very early in the morning. In fact, ACHR. Out of all of them, I think this is my favorite one, Brian. Not bad. Not bad. Ron is MIA. Everyone's so concerned about Ron. Meanwhile, I don't show up one day, not one single message. Like, where's DJ? Is he okay? I'm concerned about his well-being. Well, Ron's gone for 15 minutes. Everyone's like, man, Ron, where's Ron? CELH, which is good. No, don't get me wrong. That's good. So yeah, here's a company that just grew like crazy. I've looked into the actual fundamentals of the company. I think we're a little bit overvalued on this one and when I say a little, I should just take that word out. We're just overvalued on this one. Again, incredible growth story, But what happens is I'm not buying it here. I don't care if it goes up to $700. It's just going to go without me. I can't buy this based on the earnings, based on the actual, the revenues of the companies and all that stuff. They have good revenues. They've had a great growth story, but does their current price actually match the rate that they've grown? Meaning that all dollars I invest now is just a representation of future cash flow. For me to, I think, really have to invest now into this company, I think the PE is insane. I can't invest to here because for me, for this price to really come to fruition, I'd be having to wait probably about 10 years for the actual valuation, at least 10 years for the valuation to actually be worth this on the stock. Right. So for me, if I like it, which I do, I like the drink, I like the company, I like the progress, I like the story, I like everything about it, except for the fact that I can't be a part of it. That's it. But if I caught it open, if I caught it earlier, yeah, fantastic. All right. He says, I care about my peeps. There you go. There's Ron in the house. Everybody was sweating. Everybody was nervous. Man, even somebody was, I saw some tears at one point. It got crazy, but Ron's okay, everybody. And that's the breaking news of the day. We got Ron is okay. He is here and he is ready to rock with us. Good morning to you, Ron. Man, you had the chat worried there for a second. We almost had to cancel the whole morning. We almost canceled. We got Boeing. Boeing does look a little bit short. Lots of wicks. That's some selling pressure up there. We are opening below VPOC. The next stop is 235.76. The one after that. So the Boeing could be an interesting short with a double top out there as well. We have to keep an eye on that one. Baba had a really good day yesterday after earnings too. We got to the 102 level, or very close to it. Was not able to hold it. Now you're kind of gapping down a little bit, and you're back into the shaky territory. Probably a no trade for me, but looks like a little bit of a gap and go on Bob. I'd probably want to lean to the bear side, if anything. Nike just kind of hanging out, high volume area, probably not one to take at open. We got Google. The Gooksters, watch Google here. You're at a key level on Google. Again, retest gap, so maybe we could get some kind of green candles. But I'm going to move this one a little bit higher, not as high as some of those other ones. But if we start to break some of these levels, we definitely have some room down on Google. And it has been holding, but next immediate level will be 127.71. If that one breaks, that's really your play. That's 126.14. So we need a little bit to happen there. Carvana. I mean, that was the dream team. That one is a bunch of selling into this. This is technically the retest gap. See if you get bought up a little bit, but this one looks like it's making its path right back down to $26. Probably a decent short on Carvana at this point. You also made lower highs. And I think you could get a little bit of a pullback on Carvana XOM. A little bit of a kind of high wave evening star reversal ish, and that's might cause a little chop at open, but let's see if this is at least a pullback spot. Maybe 108.93, something like that could happen. I got like 30 seconds left. Everybody out there, YouTube land, if you guys have not already hit the little like button and subscribe button and the thumbs up button, so it looks like a little thumb. They got it's somebody wearing like a suit or something, just the way the collar on the hand is. But that's the button right there you want to hit, or subscribe, share, check out reallifetrading.com. You are more than welcome to join us each and every day to trade live and check out the markets together. But unfortunately, I have to let you guys go. You guys are incredible, and